think this is the first time someone's held a gun to my head.
You're gonna make me late, and I hate being late.
Can the Transporter franchise survive without Jason Statham? The original trilogy of films heavily relied on his unique brand of charisma, deadpan delivery, and no-nonsense fighting style. The character of lethal courier for hire Frank Martin became synonymous with the Stath, so much so that it just looked wrong when he was replaced by Chris Vance for the TV show. But now the franchise is getting a shiny new reboot, with former Game of Thrones star Ed Skrein taking on the role. And while Skrein isn't quite the celluloid force of nature that Statham is, he's nevertheless a likeable presence that brings a few new dimensions to the character. Following a brief prologue in which the Russian villain of the piece violently takes control of prostitution on the French Riviera, we're reintroduced to Frank Martin, a man of few words, whose transportation business has 3 simple rules: no names, never change the deal, and never open the package. The big change this time around is that we also meet his dad, Frank Sr., who claims to be a sales rep for Evian, but who is clearly a spy, easing himself into retirement. The interplay between the two makes for some of the movie's most entertaining scenes. It also means that the stakes are raised, as once the plot kicks into gear and Dad gets kidnapped, Frank Jr. is no longer simply just delivering a package for money, but rather endeavouring to save his father's life. It's a scheme that's masterminded by the mysterious Anna and inspired, somewhat tenuously, by the Three Musketeers. It's also pretty insane. But The Transporter is less about plot and plausibility, and more about cars and action. And director Camille Delamere delivers on both fronts. Frank's beloved Audi gets several spectacular runouts, the best of which takes place in an airport terminal. And the fights are first class, with Frank Jr. preferring to let his fists rather than firearms do the talking, and Skrein rising to the challenge. There's one particularly impressive sequence that finds Frank taking out a gang of hoods in an enclosed space using only a piece of rope, while the way in which he defeats yet more henchmen using a bunch of drawers, yes drawers, is Jackie Chan good. It's not all positive, however. There's some clunky dialogue, a few holes in the plot, and the odd bad performance, most notably from a couple of the female musketeers. Also, based on the amount of times he gets kidnapped, Frank Sr. must have been a really bad spy. But it's a fun ride, with Skrein effortlessly slipping into Martin's immaculately tailored suits, and proving that there's most definitely life after Statham in the Transporter universe. For that reason, Refueled gets an IGN score of 7 out of 10.
What took you so long?
There's a couple of babies I had to put to sleep.